What's happening, Wargamers? Welcome to the After Action Report for what is probably one of the weirdest, wildest, I don't even know what was going on games ever. If you watched it, you know exactly what I'm talking about here. Jason, yeah.
We rolled dice, everything died. It was amazing.
Everything died. It came down to Ultron and Daredevil on the table here, man.
And you almost had me. If you did that one more damage, I mean, realistically, I'd probably wake up in round 6 and kill you. But if you did that one more damage, you had a chance of just taking out Ultron and it being game right there.
Yeah, could have been interesting there. It was fun. And like we discussed in the game itself, I did have a path that I could have taken.
Much more likely than just taking the 1v1.
Yeah, because it's a path that I could have run the game out.
Yeah.
Because I have. Oh, no, I don't have stealth. I always forget that I don't have stealth.
You know what? Now that I think about it, all the paths we saw, you only picked up 3 cubes.
I couldn't pick up 3. It would have had to be 2 cubes at best.
And then you just stall it out. Yeah.
And just stall it out. Yeah.
I might have got 1 or 2 attacks into you, so it's hard to say 100% if it would have been clean, but it definitely would have been safer than fighting.
It would have been safer. And yeah, if this was a competitive game, that is very likely the play I would have done.
Yeah.
But this game was anything but competitive. It was all sorts of weird, wild, and frankly, based on everything that was going on, I was like, nah. We're doing the potato decision here.
Yep.
And we're just beating the tar out of each other.
Yep.
And honestly, it came down. Age of Ultron won you the game, man.
Yeah, Age of Ultron. I mean, I said at the very beginning of that battle report that Age of Ultron is stupid good with this Ultron.
It is a very good card, yeah. But let's talk about everything else, because I think every one of our team members really fired off and did what they needed to do this game.
For the most part, I agree with you. I mean, Bullseye didn't get much of a chance to shine, but that was because you needed to kill him. Otherwise, he was going to do terrible, terrible things to you.
Yeah, that feels ridiculously bad that I had to put attacks into Bullseye. I wonder if maybe I should have. Oh no, because I did get 2 good attacks. I got because I get the Spender into Ultron, and then I did the thing into.
Yeah, so you still had a meaningful attack on someone else that round, but it was just like the fact that Bullseye had to be priority number 1 was
felt
really
weird.
Nice.
Felt very weird.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's Bullseye, right?
Oh yeah.
How many times, the fact that Bullseye had kill conditions on 2 of my characters twice in this game.
I mean, when you have Spider-Man who has full rerolls defensively, you have Daredevil counting blanks. Bullseye is insane into these models.
Yeah, because it's just plink damage, right?
Which I think is very thematic. But
yeah. I got to give props. That Killmonger turn was just beautiful.
Yep, it would have been really nice if he'd gotten the extra 2. I was really hoping to get it with the Dark Reign and really kind I stack that up.
Hey, Matt, but then you would have won 9-7 with 9 in my favor. No, I think all in all, your team really hopped off. Getting your reality bends twice, the trigger off twice.
The reality bends trigger going off twice in a row. I mean, that's part of why I chose to do it on the Dark Reign was because okay, that increases the odds. But then I naturally got it the next round anyways.
Yeah,
so
it was, and that I think that's what made this game so fun for us. All of our characters, none of them were dead activations.
It was great.
Yeah,
it was fantastic.
It was so much fun as a result. We were both rolling wild dice. We were getting some great results on both ends of the spectrum and whatnot.
Yeah,
things were just dropping like flies. I can't Hulk got taken down, but you know what? Hulk still got work done.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Daredevil got work done. I think ASM was my weakest link, and even he got work done.
Yeah, he still did solid things. I mean, he swung in, did a bunch of damage, and then he died for it, but he did the thing.
my downfall was the Devil's Deliverance hitting the goons, man. Daisy myself to the friggin' goons.
That was something.
That was rough. But if I didn't take out Ultron, he was just going to activate anyway.
Yep.
Although, in all fairness, I wonder if I maybe had a better shot of surviving with my radar sense against.
And when he was staggered.
So I have to wonder if maybe I should have.
Yeah.
Because I also would have had my clap back, right?
I was very much okay with burning Age of Ultron at that point to get rid of the stagger. I was kind of I have no power now. But
oh yeah, and it was a calculated risk. I knew what was going to happen if I happened to do too well. And you know what? I probably should have positioned Daredevil a little bit further over here. Because I think I could have still picked up I would have had 1 less die.
What gave you the mobility that turn? I'm trying to remember. Oh, it was your aggressive. That's what it was.
Because I got the clap back into Red Skull.
Yeah.
And then that gave me my short advance.
So yeah, there was you probably could have tried to avoid the grunts or something there. But small things. I mean, the amount of times this game that I was cursing myself for forgetting to summon the grunts in the first place was a big problem. When you smashed with Hulk and then near the end against Daredevil, when I had that turn of well, everyone's dead, I have no one to use my second action on. I could have summoned them in by just throwing a piece of terrain into the open air.
Yep.
And that would have completely changed the dynamic against Daredevil at the end of hey, I have these other guys flanking you for 2 4-dicers every turn.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things where I was kind of running against the clock at the very end there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, leaving Ultron as your last action or your last character in Daredevil's mind is like,
Is kind of rough.
there's a power imbalance here.
Yeah.
But honestly, this was one of the most weird, wild games I've had in a while. So this was a lot of fun, regardless.
Yep.
And I just love the fact that everyone got work done.
It was great. Every single model got to do something meaningful on the board.
Yeah,
which is always good. You love to see that.
Yeah, and I mean, while I do think Age of Ultron won you the game, I don't think it won you in an oppressive manner either, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of those things where when it's coming to a table and it's that close, Age of Ultron can definitely be the difference, like it was here.
Yep.
But like everyone on the team still did a lot of work. Like Hulk was off the table well before that. Spidey went off the table that round, so.
Yeah, Spidey, I think my only disappointment with this game is Spidey's defensive tech really didn't do as much as I would have wanted.
No, but he took a lot.
He got pinged for a lot of just like little speck damage.
Yeah, well, there was a couple bullseyes
he
in
there.
there.
Took one from the grunts when they exploded.
Yep.
And then he took a bunch from the cubes.
Well, he actually ended up taking, I think, 2 grunt explosions and a Devil's Deliverance.
Yep.
So he took 3 damage.
Joke's on you! I killed ASM!
I think he took a total of 5 or maybe even more damage from things that were not dice. They were just there.
He took a lot of environmental damage. Yeah. And that was my bad. I positioned him in places where, unfortunately...
Which, like, going for the middle point is not a bad idea. It's just, it definitely leaves him open too.
Yeah, and honestly, if I had even 2 less of that, like, he might have held on just a tiny little bit longer.
Yep, and having an extra model near the end.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, the fact that he went down to a cube on his to his daze side, like, that's how we dropped initially. And then before you even activated anyone, he had already taken 4 damage on his injured side. It's like, oh, this is just rough. But that's just how it swings. Honestly, like, just this 15 threat Defenders team is just so ridiculously fun.
It does seem fun.
Still really upset. Like, finally got his friggin' trigger off, and it was nobody to actually do it against.
Yep, you dazed the whole team.
Because I can't throw it at somebody else. The momentum still didn't go off. Because that's what I was actually really hoping to do, right? I was hoping to get the momentum off and go into Bullseye.
Yep.
That's what I really wanted to do. Because, I mean, that could have easily put 3 damage onto Bullseye right there.
Yeah, and Bullseye, I mean, on his healthy side, he ended up dropping himself using no matter the cost and converting a skull. So a couple extra damage on him would have really affected his ability to do things.
Yeah, and I think that's what this game kind of came down to. There was just a couple interactions where it's like, if one of our characters just pushed a little bit harder, right? It could have made a big difference there. But either way, Jason, this was an absolute blast. Oh, yeah. Great to have you back on the channel as well. It's been a little while since you've been on for Crisis Protocol.
Yep.
So I'm really glad that your debut back was just this nice bombastic game.
We just rolled a bunch of dice and everything died. It was fantastic.
Exactly. I don't even know what if there was ever a case of MCP dice, tonight was MCP dice. Like, oh my goodness, those were wild. So anyway, I hope everyone enjoyed this game. Leave your comments below. Get that algorithm going with those like, comments, subscribes. And of course, if you want to support the channel, patreon.com/AgeOfSprand just a couple bucks a month, keeps all the lights on. And of course, you can hit iwargame.net, friend and sponsor of the channel, and use code AgeOfSprand, save 10% on your purchases. Thank you so much for watching. Happy wargaming.